150. Nearly there.
Yeah, 1.8.
Oh, 1910, 15.
Perfect.
25. We overshot a little bit, a few grams heavier than we need to be. But we've probably got 10 grams in there, 5 or 10 grams, so I'm going to close it here so that doesn't actually go in the machine. So we're ready to start the machine if you don't mind. The keys? Yeah. You got okay, sort that out, fire them up, and then we'll see what we got. Yeah. No, just the one. Just the downstairs one. Okay. Start off now. Right, fire the machine up. If you can see the meter there, let me take it out. 1 second, I'll just flip the camera.
Sure.
There we go. Right, what we got there now is you see the one on the left?
Yes.
That's the bar pressure of the actual bottle.
Okay.
One on the right is the unit itself. You see the pressure is dropping now because the machine is starting to run.
Right.
I'd be expecting to see on a temperature like today around about 9-ish bars.
Okay.
It'll probably drop down below and then come back up again. So we're down to 9 bar now. So
Perfect.
it should settle a little bit and start coming back up again. So on the start of the machine, that's not such an important thing to look at right this second.
Okay.
Because obviously the machine is just starting, so it's going to be kicking in a little bit.
Oh yeah, so it's sort of leveling off, I guess, to that 9 mark.
And then the motor will actually start picking up and exchanging heat. It's not done that as yet. What it's doing now is reading the temperatures inside and outside, and it's sort of like arguing with itself if it needs to go faster or slower.
Fair enough.
At the moment, it's off virtually down to nothing. But then he'll start taking temperatures over the air handler, and he'll say whether it needs to go faster or slower.
Okay.
If you look at the pressure we got there now, it's 9.5 bar pressure.
Mm-hmm.
So that compared to 3.3.
Yeah, I mean it's working at a lot higher pressure here, right?
Yeah, we're working. So of course the amperage is going to be a lot higher once she starts kicking in and exchanging heat. And what normally happens as well, the higher the temperature of the 410 gas, what happens with that? The higher the temperature, the higher the pressure. So as the temperature goes up, so does the temperature, so does the pressure. So let me just show you the amperage now.
Okay.
You see that? I can't really see it from my glass. So we're looking at 6 amps and it's not even really started yet. So she's just about to kick in, but she's doing 7 bar. I'd be expecting that to pick up about 9 bar, and then the ampage then would be up around about 7 once she starts to cool. It's just starting to exchange now. So I can feel a little bit of hot air coming out of the fan here. So we're 6.9. So that'll start picking up in a second, and the amperage will go up with that as well. Because at the moment it hasn't really kicked in. See the pressure now; she's starting to rise a little.
Yep, I can see that.
I mean, it'll take a few minutes to settle, and they normally take a little while. So the initial startup of any machine is fluctuates a lot until it sort of gets its rhythm, and then once it's been running for a few minutes, then you get stabilization. But even now, I mean, it isn't running full revs yet, and we're using 6 amps. As you can see there.
Yep, I see that there. Yeah.
And then at 6 bar. So once this gets done to 9 bar, which should be running around about 9 bar, you'll see that amperage will go up again.
But these things would be typically running for most of the day in these hotter countries, right? So.
No, with any machine that you run, like if you go into any of the hotter countries like the Middle East, what you find there, it's those units are on literally 24 hours a day.
Right.
So 4 hours a day, that's really when you get the savings.
Makes sense.
Because that's when it gets to a level where she settles down and gets a good sort of rhythm, a good consumption there.
Right.
But that's really where my gas really comes into it, and the hotter it is, the better it runs.
Makes sense.
When above 38 degrees, 410 becomes pretty ropey, to be truthful.
Right. So it's just about the efficiency while it's running.
It can be running fairly high. So we're still running 6 amps, and we're on 7.13 bar. So she seems to be settling down a little bit. We are in the shade as well on this side of the building, so it's not so bad. So it is getting a good exchange of heat. So it's actually getting rid of the heat.
Right.
So I think what I'm going to do now, I'm going to walk inside now. We'll just take a quick temperature reading. Hold on.
Perfect.
I'll risk my neck. I'll take a quick temperature reading of the house.
Well, certainly looks like a beautiful day today.
Keys. Did you get the keys? Open. Okay. Right, okay. I thought I was locked out for a second. Right. It's nice and cool in here. So, there we go. Oh, let me just switch the camera around again. What can I see? I can still see myself. There we go. Alright, what have we got? I can see that. 14 degrees.
Okay, so it's
13 degrees. We're roughly around about the same temperature. A little bit higher on this one. And she's running virtually twice the amps to get the same temperatures. I know it will stabilize a little bit.
Right.
A bit later on, but we hadn't had it running long before you arrived, before we made the connection. So, obviously, if you leave it run, and what you do is you recirculate the air which cools it.
Right.
It gets cooler.
Okay, makes sense.
We're on par with it, so I'm quite happy with the temperatures. So, yeah, we're getting 12 degrees there. We had 10 more hours, but that'll come down. It will come down, but then probably the amperage will go up as well.
Makes sense, yeah. So the R-410A then is basically working harder and creating more pressure on the system.
Absolutely.
To produce the same temperatures.
The easiest way to explain this to you
is
that we achieve our temperatures at lower pressure.
Right.
We achieve our similar temperatures, sometimes better, depending on the machine. You can get one machine that can be super cold, and you get another one that's going to be not quite so cold. But that's exactly the same for 410.
Okay.
What you could do is maybe the sensors have been in the wrong position, or a different type of sensor, or a resistor in the unit itself. They all vary slightly, so there's no real benchmark on it. But if I can get 10 degrees out of any units, I'm happy.
Okay, makes sense. Yeah.
That for me, that's good enough.
Right.
As I said earlier on, anything lower than 10, you got a risk of freezing. And what happens with 410 gas, when that gets low on pressure, the pressure drops. If you got a leak on it, the pressure drops, the temperature drops, and then the 410 itself becomes super cold. And it's just like having a refrigerator door open. It creates ice around there, and the water can't go anywhere. And then you'll get drip, drip, drip.
Right.
Then
it leaks in your system.
Hotel or something, you can make a lot of damage on that.
Okay.
And what the beauty about ours, if you got a leak on it, it doesn't freeze.
Right.
doesn't know.
That's pretty amazing.
Well, you think it doesn't cool as well. I think, oh, there's something wrong.
Yeah.
The law basically means that you must have your air conditioner must not be leaking. And,
Makes sense, of course.
When I went for my exams, they said they couldn't get it across to us strong enough that you do not top up a leaking system.
Right.
If you ask to top up a system, you ask, why am I topping it up? That's
Find out where the leak is first before you go and make any changes there.
Yeah, because then you're consciously putting gas into the air.
Right.
So,
kind of adding to the problem, right?
And that's it.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of my gas. If it is got a leak on it, you know pretty quick.
Yeah.
Because it shows that, it's not quite as cold as it used to be. But it's better than it freezing up. And once it freezes up, then it causes damage.
Right.
Because it can also freeze the pump as well.
Makes
which then
sense.
causes more damage to the pump.
Absolutely.
And of course, with this being sort of 7, 8, 9 bars for 410, compared to 3 bar, well, you can imagine if you got a leak, which is going to leak the quickest, the 9 bar or the, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly, right.
More joints are under more pressure. Everything is much more problematic.
You're in trouble at that point, yeah.
Yeah. So there we go. That's a quick demonstration for you.
Much appreciated.
I don't know if I can be of help to you if that's okay.
No, that's fantastic. I much appreciated.
I've promised my customers I put my gas back in it. Trio Gas, gotta go back in.
Yeah, I'm sure they want to see that back there.
Stuff.
Good stuff.
Is there anything else you need to know?
No, that's great. Thank you, Lloyd. I much appreciate your test today.
I wish you could have been here and actually see it, because to see it, especially when you go the other way around from 410, where you can read everything and get the temperatures, and then you put mine in and you think, flipping heck, you know what I mean? That's half, straight away half.
Absolutely.
And then ticking over, she just ticks over.
That's amazing.
It's like having a big motor in your car. You just tick it over, you know? You're not revving it all the time.
That's right, exactly. Good stuff. No, I think this is great. Like, it's good to have a demonstration to show people as well, too, when we're speaking to them. That
I know it's a bit of a scratchy demonstration because of obviously with it being up and down on it, I'm not a cameraman.
No,
I'm not an actor.
Nor am I. Who are we kidding here, right? So, this is Facebook.
This is as good as it gets.
Exactly. No, that's great.
Yeah, but you actually, if you used to physically see it, you can understand it much, much simpler.
Absolutely.
You know?
But I think this is...
Because it saves so much energy, people don't believe it for a start.
Right. Well, this is an exceptional starting point, though. You know, so at least, here it is. Here's the presentation. Here's the video. And,
sorry,
guys...
It was a bit shaky and...
Pardon me, sorry?
Pretty good files.